Welcome once again to Noir Alley. I'm your host, Eddie Muller. Today, I have got a genuine rarity for you loyal noiristas. In fact, this is the TCM premiere of a film that has languished in obscurity pretty much since the year it was made. That would be 1950, when short-lived distribution company Film Classics released Guilty Bystander, made entirely in New York City, but featuring some veteran Hollywood talent. Now, a couple of months ago when I showed Touch of Evil, I noted it was based on the novel Badge of Evil by Whit Masterson. Today's film is based on a novel by Wade Miller. In fact, it's the same guy, or in this case, the same guys. Writing partners Bob Wade and Bill Miller churned out so many crime and mystery novels they needed multiple pseudonyms. They'd met taking violin lessons when they were 12-year-olds in San Diego. They went to college and the Air Force together and maintained a professional writing partnership until Miller's death in 1961. Guilty Bystander was their second novel, published in 1947. It was the first of 6 books featuring an alcoholic detective named Max Thursday. For the movie version, Thursday was changed into an alcoholic ex-cop who struggles to stay sober during the search for his kidnapped son. Now, the major difference between the book and film, however, was the relocation of the story from San Diego to New York, which had everything to do with the people who made this film. Joseph and Geraldine Lerner were a husband and wife filmmaking team who served their apprenticeship in Hollywood prior to World War II. Joe worked around town mainly as a second-unit director, while Jerry was a sound editor at MGM. And during the war, the couple moved back to New York, where they did their bit for the war effort, working for the Signal Corps' photographic unit in Astoria, Queens. Well, after the war, the Lerners stayed in New York, and they hung out their own shingle, Visual Arts Productions, which would later become Laurel Productions. The pair made documentaries, industrials, and short subjects. When African-American producer William Alexander approached them to make a film with recently retired heavyweight champ Joe Louis, the Lerners created their first feature film. Made in 1948, The Fight Never Ends was a race film intended mainly for black audiences. It had a budget of a mere $25,000, but the resourceful Lerners only spent 18 of it, and their brief run as low-budget indie filmmakers was underway. For Guilty Bystander, the Lerners enlisted some well-known Hollywood players. Zachary Scott, who was an alcoholic, had little trouble relating to Max's plight. To lend him support, Faye Emerson, who'd often co-starred with Scott at Warner Brothers, came out of retirement to play his wife. She had quit making films after she married President Franklin Roosevelt's son, Elliot. And Mary Boland, one of the most popular actresses of the 1930s, is here almost unrecognizable as Smitty, proprietress of the flophouse Max calls home. Sam Levine, Kay Medford, and J. Edward Bromberg round out the cast. Well, these performers had never made a movie like this before. In the words of Jerry Lerner, they practiced guerrilla filmmaking. The Lerners got no permits. They just paid off whatever cops were on the street. These bribes were noted in the budget as schmear money. They shot in locations all around Manhattan, the grimier the better, including inside the Tombs, the city's ancient and infamous detention center. Some interiors were shot in the original 21st Century Fox studio on West 56th Street, but just as many were done in abandoned warehouses and tenements. Well, not that long ago, this was considered a missing film. Now, here it is, making its debut on Turner Classic Movies. I'll have more to say about how that happened after you enjoy this gutter crawl through the bowels of the Bowery. Here is Guilty Bystander.